What's going on, YouTube? This is SG1 Sports, and you're watching our Big Ten football channel. We are going to give you our updated power rankings after Week 2. So these would be our Week 3 power rankings, and not a lot of changes in the Big Ten. Not a whole lot really happened of significance. You almost had a big upset with Michigan going down to Army. But Ohio State was impressive against Cincinnati. Purdue got a big win out of the conference. Maryland got a huge win as well. And you're going to see some teams move around just a little bit, especially really the bottom half of the Big Ten. The top half, for the most part, staying the same. So we'll start now with number 14, and they are who we thought they were. Rutgers getting blown out by Iowa 30-0. You saw game one, and you thought, well, maybe Rutgers is starting to turn it around. They look pretty good. And then you saw the same old Rutgers here against Iowa. They couldn't do anything offensively. They were shut out. And again, Rutgers back to being the clear bottom team in the Big Ten, unless Iowa's just that good, and that's possible. We'll see. But kind of a different story for Rutgers here in Game 2 versus Game 1, and they will kick off our Week 3 power rankings at number 14, the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. So let's move on now to number 13, and it was kind of tough. These next few teams are kind of tough to rank, but I put Illinois at number 13. They struggled a little bit this week. They really did. Against UConn, a team that's not very good. I mean, UConn had a 10-0 lead at the end of the first quarter. Illinois did really put it together in the second quarter. They scored 24 points in that second quarter to get things turned around. But, yeah, it's a little worrisome to see this team struggle against a team like UConn. I thought this team was going to be a little bit better this year. But as of now, they've had some injuries, especially to a couple of their top two running backs are both injured right now. Reggie Corbin may be back this week, but they've got to be able to run the football, got to have those guys, and we'll see if they're able to do that moving forward. Indiana at number 12, a team that really hasn't been tested at all. They did beat Eastern Illinois 52-0, so they had a nice game there, but it was Eastern Illinois. Peyton Ramsey came in and played really well, 13-14 passing, 226 yards. Stevie Scott had an okay game, but yeah, we're playing Eastern Illinois, so a lot of starters aren't even going to play much in this game. And again, with Indiana, we haven't seen them be tested yet. They're going to get tested this week. They play Ohio State. We will find out a lot about this Hoosier team after that game. Number 11 is Minnesota. They survive against Fresno State. I tell you what, this team has had a couple of really tough games that they've been able to survive. Last week, they play South Dakota State, FCS team. They find a way to win, come back late, and get that win. And then here against Fresno State, who is a good team. Don't get me wrong, Fresno State's a solid football team. But you thought Minnesota was maybe going to play a little bit better. They had to come from behind in this game as well, but they were able to do it. This team shows a lot of fight. We'll see if they can just continue to find ways to win football games, but they need to clean some things up. Need to play better football as they head into conference play. Nebraska at number 10. I don't think the sky is falling in Lincoln just yet, just because you lost to Colorado. Listen, Colorado's a pretty good team. Nebraska had this game in control. They were up 17-0 at halftime. You saw the potential of this team. They've got to be able to finish games better. They gave up a lot of big plays to Colorado. Hats off to the Buffaloes. They played really well in the second half of this game to come back and win. But I think Nebraska is still a really good football team. But we got to put them down to number 10 right now just because of the loss. And we're not sure. How good is Colorado? We're not sure. And that's why I say you need 4 games to really evaluate all these teams. But at number 9 is Purdue. They move up a little bit. Nice win over Vanderbilt, 42-24. A huge day from Rondale Moore. He had 220 yards receiving in this game. Elijah Sindelar had over 500 yards passing, 5 touchdowns. It was a huge day for this Purdue offense as they went out and just destroyed this Vanderbilt team. The game was kind of close early on. At halftime, it was 14-10, but Purdue really put it on them in the second half thanks to this passing attack with Elijah Sindelar and Rondale Moore. Those two, that combination looks very dangerous right now. Number 8 is Northwestern. They didn't play this week. Had a bye week. Good opportunity for them to get healed up. Isaiah Bowser, the running back, maybe he can get back, be healthy this week. We will see. But it was a tough loss against Stanford. It was a physical game. I think you look at it early, say, why would a team need a bye week in week 2? I mean, it's so early, but after that game and just the style of that game, maybe this was actually a really good spot for a bye week. They can get Hunter Johnson in there. He knows he is the guy. He will be the starting quarterback with TJ Green going down with the injury. So a nice time for a bye week for Northwestern. We'll see if they can bounce back and play a little bit better next week. Iowa's at number 7. Nice win over Rutgers, 30-0, but again, it was Rutgers. And honestly, 30 points, that may not be really all that impressive against the Rutgers defense, but the defense was definitely impressive as they shut them out. This was a nice win for Iowa. Nate Stanley's played pretty well so far. He threw for over 200 yards, 3 touchdowns in this game. They still haven't found that rushing attack that we've seen in the past from them, and that's something they're going to have to do as they move forward in Big Ten play. They've got to be able to run the football consistently, and if they can do that, they're going to have a chance to win the West. Maryland is at number 6, maybe the best win in college football last week. I mean, this was really impressive. They beat a ranked Syracuse team, a team that I haven't had ranked in my top 25, by the way. So when I say ranked, I'm talking about the AP poll and coaches poll. But Maryland rolled in this game. They put up 42 points in the first half. Just an unbelievable performance. I mean, this team is looking really, really good offensively right now. 63 points in this one. I think they put up like 70-something points last week. I know it was against a nobody, but still, Maryland looks like a contender in the Big Ten, but it's early. We saw Maryland, the last couple of years, early in the year they beat Texas, then they faded away. They need to keep it going this year. Michigan State is at number 5. They finally found some offense. Brian Lewerke threw for over 300 yards in this game. And how about Elijah Collins? Maybe they finally found their running back. He ran for 192 yards in this one. Darrell Stewart had a big day, 185 yards receiving. So you're starting to see some playmakers emerge for this Michigan State team. And with the defense that they have, if they can play like that offensively against Big Ten defenses, Michigan State becomes a playoff contender. They become a very dangerous team. Now, this is Western Michigan. I'm not going to jump up and say, Michigan State's going to make the playoffs just yet. But there's potential there. We'll see how they look once they get into, some tougher competition. Penn State is at number 4, another team that really hasn't played anybody. If we were going by resume, I might put Michigan State and Maryland ahead of Penn State just because Penn State hasn't really played any good teams. They play Pitt this week. That'll be a tougher test for them. Not a great team, but I think it'll be a better gauge, a better measuring stick for this Nittany Lion teams to see just how good they are. But they've looked good so far. Offensively, they've looked really good, better than I thought that they would. Sean Clifford has been very solid for them at quarterback. Defensively, they played pretty well. Also, Buffalo's not a bad team. They beat them 45-13. But Michigan is at number 3, and some people probably want to see them dropped a little bit lower. Again, I go back to last year. Oklahoma, Army went to overtime. Oklahoma did just fine. Michigan played horrible in this game, and they still won. And they won against a quality opponent. So I give them some credit for that. Now, if that level of play is normal for them, if that's how good this Michigan team is, if that's how they're going to play all year, they're going to lose several games. But I still think they have the potential to clean things up, play better, and be one of the top teams in the Big Ten. But right now, we're going to put them at number 3. Number 2, I think, has to go to Wisconsin. Another impressive performance, 61-0 over Central Michigan. They held Central Michigan to like 58 yards in this game. Just an unbelievable game by this Wisconsin defense. Jonathan Taylor didn't even have a big day, just 102 yards on the ground. But Jack Cohn did. He had 363 yards passing. He is really benefiting from teams selling out to stop the run. And you're seeing that he can take advantage of that, and that's what you've got to be able to do. If you're a team like Wisconsin, if teams load up, they sell out to stop the run, you've got to be able to make them pay, and so far Wisconsin has been able to do that. They play great defense. This looks like a playoff contender right now. That's why I had them in my top 10, in the top 10 of my top 25 poll. Ohio State, though, still at number 1. I was really impressed with their win over Cincinnati. Justin Fields, a lot of people questioned him after the spring game back a few months ago, thought maybe he's not going to be that great. You can see the athleticism and what he brings to the table. He seems to have the playbook figured out. He seems to be efficient with the football, not turning it over. This offense is very dangerous with him at quarterback. He is living up to the hype so far. Now, they haven't really been tested. They will in the future, and we'll find out more about them. But they are really good, especially at running football. J.K. Dobbins, 141 yards rushing in this game. So a nice win for Ohio State. They beat a good Cincinnati team, and they beat them 42-0. I was really impressed with that, and that's why Ohio State still is at number 1. These are our power rankings. Give us your thoughts down in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more here on the SG1 Sports Big Ten Football Channel.